just zoomed in. That we don't want. But we are live, I believe. We're getting there. We're looking good. Okay, and we're live. We're early, but we're live. I'm not going to really get started on anything too soon, but get out of the designer side and just be in Sawgrass for now. Oh, we're early. Okay, let's not do that. I'm not going to make it to that one. Hmm. 5. Bonus. Thousand, 2,000, 3,000, 4,000, 5,000, 6,000. 8 seconds. Wow. Sorry about the microphone. Anybody who might be out there? Let's see what do we got here. We got 3 people watching. All right, we're live. All right, so hopefully I've got a viewer or 2. If not, well, I'll have fun doing this anyway. If you're using Creative Studio, you already know you have to log into the Sawgrass website. Then you have to launch Creative Studio. So we launch Creative Studio. It pops open a design window. Always starts with the product wizard. You can skip it if you want to, but we're not going to tonight. Since we're playing with text, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to design a t-shirt. Just going to go with a regular apparel t-shirt. We're going to look for just a standard basic short sleeve shirt. We're going to stay with white since we're doing dye sub. We're going to do the front of the shirt, and we're going to do it in 1319 in a vertical orientation. So there's our t-shirt. So now we want to put some text on here. So the first thing we do is hit the text button. We'll drop in a text box with sample text. We're going to change our text to say, this is the top line. You have to hit OK or it will not change the text. So we hit OK, this is the top. We notice that it's too big. So we could resize it. But since we're looking to change the shape, first thing we're going to do is come up under Object. And here we have our 3 text chain adjustments we can make. First thing we do is text font. And let's go athletic. And we're going to go with the very simple college. The other hint, write down your font names. Because once I click this, actually we're going to go graduate. This is now graduate. But if you click on it anywhere, it doesn't tell you what the font is. You have to remember. So now we've changed our font. Now we're going to go back to Object, and we're going to change what's known as the text envelope. The text envelope comes in 4 sizes. You have arch, arc, bridge bottom, and double bridge. I don't know what all of them are, but an arch is it's going to arch our text. So I set it almost to the max. We hit OK, and it arches our text. See how large it is? But you notice it warps the text as we go. So let me make that a little smaller so we can see everything. So as you can see, it arched the text. So now we're going to go to text envelope, and we're going to change that to arc. Same size of an arc. If you notice like that, it kept the font as if it had just bent the line instead of skewing it and putting it out of perspective. So this usually works really, really well. But if you notice, the sizing is sort of difficult when you get to this. So now let's go see what the other 2 are. We're going to have a bridge bottom. We're going to leave it with the big opening. Okay. That made it upside down and inside out. Okay. Right, that's interesting. So what I'm thinking is let me undo that. Undo it again. So this is the top line. Let's go back to font envelope. Let's go to double bridge. See what we get there. Okay, so the double bridge is going to stretch it up and down. I don't know why the other one made it go backwards though, and upside down. That was definitely weird. We can resize it so it'll fit. That's really hard to read in that font. So let's go back to envelope, and I want to play with this bridge bottom some more. Let's back off some, and let's see what happens. It's flipping the middle of the text. Let me go back to text envelope. Let's go to the other side. What do we get? Okay, now I understand what's going on. So we have our text envelopes. We have a bridge bottom, which means it makes a drooped bottom of the so you have to move the text lines. You have to move your slider to the left to make the bottom drop out. You move the slider to the right, the bottom drops out and up, which flips your text over. Interesting effect. Let's see, what does arch do when we're all the way to the left? It does the exact same thing. So I don't really think that the bridge bottom is useful for what anything I wanted to do. We're going to stick with an arc. What does a negative arc do? It drops it below straight. Okay, so now we can start getting creative with something. So what we're going to do here is I'm going to change the font. This is where things get interesting with this. So if you were to pick one of these different fonts, you'll notice all I did was change the font. It completely changed the size of the text. So since this is the top line, we're going to change this and we're going to make it purple because I want it to be purple. We're going to change the text envelope to an arc, but all the way to the other side. So that gets me my top. So we're going to move this to the top. Now I covered this in the past, but the easiest way to make sure you're using the same font throughout the entire design, if that's what you want, is to select the text you want to use and duplicate it. It will create another box. So we're going to come over here. We're going to change top to bottom. Going to hit OK. Now the only problem is, if you notice, it just made it bigger. So that's not a good thing. So now what we need to do is we have to change this envelope to an arc all the way to the other side, which should give me the corresponding. So now the problem I have is I have to manually size these to line up. So to simplify some of that, we can take each one, click Shift, it'll select both. If you notice they're not square, we can go to Object and Align Center. Now they're aligned to the center and they're roughly the same size. So that would give me a top and a bottom line that are both English reading from left to right. If you wanted to do a complete loop where it reads upside down, we're going to have to try something different with that. So let me move, oops, they're still selected together. I didn't want to move them both. I just want to move this one down. So what I want to see is I want to click the top one. This is the top line, and it keeps going and going. Lesson learned. See, what happens is it will not do a circle. It will only do an arc halfway. So if I need this, all right, so now, interesting. So how are we going to make it be upside down text? We have to split it in half manually. So then this has to be, no, we would do the exact same thing. We would take the envelope. We would make an arc. We would arc it this way. And then if we rotate it, no, 180 degrees. Okay, now I think I know where some of these things are coming from. So, all right. So if I wanted it upside down, I have to do something to the text before, because I can't flip horizontally. Now it's backwards. I can flip vertically and then horizontally. Okay, so now we have, this is the top line, this is the bottom line, and this is upside down. So if you would like to do a circle of text, you're going to have to break it into a top half of the circle and a bottom half of the circle. The top half of the circle, you set an arc, you set it to maximum. It will give you the 180 degrees. On the bottom, you do the same thing. It will start out having an arc that travels the same. And then if you go to object and flip horizontal and vertical, it will then be upside down text. So now let's try to get something a little bit more complicated here. Now we're going to add, we'll add a single line of text going across the middle. Sample text. Set it there. We're going to call it t-shirt. Click OK. We're going to change the font. I want to go futuristic. I want to go, I actually like this Geostar fill. We're going to change the color. We're going to make it yellow, yellow. Save that. Oops, cancel. Don't want to save that. I want to apply that. Now what I want to do is we're going to notice it is covering everything, which is what I wanted. Now I want to outline it. I'm going to make my outline, since we're doing a full-size shirt, set the outline sort of high. I'm going to set it as black. We're going to do a fill behind. What I'm going to show here is that's what behind looks like. Let me zoom in here some, so you can see where the, so if you haven't done outlines, I'm going to show the difference between behind and in front of. And basically what it is it's hiding a part of it behind the design. I've almost always done all of my outlines behind fill. I just think it works better, but that's me. Anybody can play with it as you want to. So now we notice we've got t-shirt in the middle, we've got this top line. Well, it doesn't go where I want it to go. So let's go back to that, and we're going to change the envelope. We're going to stick with an arc, but let's back it off one notch. See, it brought it in a little bit. It changed the size, but we're going to deal with that. So here's the text envelope. We're going to back it off another notch, but we're going to make it an arc. Now it is above my t-shirt line. So we went 2. So if we select this one, object, text envelope, it's an arc, and we move it 2, should shrink it a little bit. We resize it. So now we can take all 3 elements, align them to center. Now they're all aligned, and now we have a t-shirt. So this is the top, this is the bottom. Font sizes are a little bit off because the amount of words in each line is a little bit off. So that's a little tricky. You can see this one didn't quite get where it needed to be. It's one of the limitations that this software has. One of the things I want to check is to see if I can put a couple spaces in there, and if it changes the text layout. Nope, didn't affect them at all. So spaces aren't recorded; they're not used. And now we're going to. I'm going to bring an image in. No, not one of my images. Let me see. What should we put in here? Motor vehicles, motorcycle. Oh yeah, let's put a chopper in there. I like the cruiser better. Put the cruiser. It's text art. Now I want it behind everything. If you notice, a couple things. 1, it's too big. And 2, it's not behind anything. Now, you can select an item by clicking on it here. You can't move it here. Okay, you have to move it somewhere else. And that's up here. And we have a move up, move down button. So every time you move it down, it will drop it one layer down. The problem is every object you place is a layer. So now we've got it it's at the bottom layer. It is the bottom thing. Now I want to make it smaller so that it's a cruiser. Okay, so now we have motorcycle as a graphic in the bass. We have the bass. It's been a long day, long evening already. So what we're going to go back to do, that's just a simple thing. That's one of the restrictions on layers. Each time you add a new item, it automatically becomes the top layer. So if you were to try to do something really complicated, like some of the pre-built templates, it takes a little bit of advanced planning or a lot of clicking move up, move down to get everything in the right orientation. But if we go back to the Facebook post that brought about this topic tonight, and it's from the Heat Press Creators Group, wanted something like this. So we've got top two lines, we've got a graphic. So we've sort of addressed what it is, but let's put another line in there. So now we need another line of text in there. So we're going to drop in more text. As you notice, it's on top of everything. Where I'm putting it shouldn't matter. We are going to place this up there and say, what should we say? Tuesday. Why? Just because it's a word and this is a nonsensical t-shirt, because we're dealing with text. So we have a single word. That'll be interesting. I don't know what it will do with a single word. Expressive calligraphy. Ooh, fancy. Let's do Mr. Defoe. I like Willem Dafoe. So now we have a single word. Wonder what happens when we put it in the text envelope. Now this is in an arc right in the middle. It didn't do anything, which is what I expected. So envelope, arc. Let's go. We went all the way -2 steps. Ah, see, it spread it out to the entire width of the box. So we can't curve a single word that much. So let's go back to arc and let's bring this down 3 more notches. It's closer. Let me bring it down 2 more notches. Okay, so doing a single word ends up costing us quite a bit of flexibility. So we'd have to go with definitely much more of a sentence than of a word. Sorry about that banging the mic. Let's see, what else can we do here? Let's try, what does the arch do set on that? Arch actually looks a little bit better. I'll take the arch up too. Yeah, see, it's where arch is doing is it's holding the edges and tweaking the middle up, as if it's bending the entire word. So doing a single is not doing what I want it to do. So we need to put other words in, which isn't exactly what we'd like to do. So let's go to the envelope again. So we are going to do an arc. We are going to go 1, 2, 3 below. Of course, I don't like where that's at, but we're going to put in, so you do tabs work? No, we have spaces. Whoa, what did I do? Don't know. Yeah, see, putting in spaces doesn't work. Tuesday is better than Monday. I cannot even type today. And I'm not even going to capitalize it. So now it made it huge. We can shrink it down. Try not to shrink it off the page because that sometimes makes it more difficult to get back. And because of the font that's a little bit off, very unreadable. So that's not going to work. So we'd have to change the font. That's one of the problems versus using a full-fledged design software is you do have some limitations as to your ability to, like that, drop it one thing and it drops it that far. So instead, we just want to do it ourselves. Select all the items. We'll align them to center. We'll align them horizontally to the shirt. Tuesday's better than Monday. This is the top line. This is the bottom line. We did an outline. Let's see, what other text stuff do we have to deal with? We've done outline. We've done duplication. We've done the object per, or one object per layer. Of course, we do have this, which is, oops, not that, this. In case you haven't seen this, the product mockup maker, it actually will download an image as a PNG. So this is text-based t-shirt. It's going to download it. I'm not sure where it's going to download it on this system. Been having system issues the last couple weeks. I have not been able to be consistent on a schedule, so things seem to be working okay today. So we'll go to the text-based mug or text-based t-shirt. Open that up. It's just going to open it in photos. And there's a mock-up you can send to your customers. It's not high quality, so it's not like they can steal the design and go send it to somebody else and print it. It's a low quality PNG. But with the background image, it really gives them a good idea of what their product's going to look like. If you just want to see what the design is going to look like, you can always just print it. Text t-shirt. Hit OK. It's going to tell you to save the file. It's going to, or you're going to, that's right, save complete. You're going to click here to print. It's going to go to your downloads file. It's going to give it the SG extension. Now, if you've got Virtuoso Print Manager running and it's printing to one of your hot folders, it's going to pop up Virtuoso Print Manager. If not, we can go to the folder and you want to take a look at it. We can take this and take the .sg and change it to PNG. Yes, we know it's going to be unusable, except it's not. Then we open it, and you'll notice there's our design. It is a transparency. It's a PNG. It's RGB. You could then take this as an image and place it into another software package. Not highly necessary if you don't want to, but it's a great way for you to verify you're going to enjoy what it's going to look like. It is a high resolution PNG. Of course, because it's got transparencies and it comes up on a black background, we lose all of our outline, but it would be there if you printed it. Don't know. Let's see. Is we still got? No, we may not have. No, we lost a viewer. Oh man, 2 minutes after we started. Oh well, that's okay. So I think we've covered everything with text that I can think of. Oh, one thing I wanted, if you have an idea but you're not sure how to lay it out, one of the things to look at is they have a bunch of typographic and typographic in retro labels. So if you're looking to go to a customer and they're looking for some sort of a logo, they're looking for something different, and they have an idea what they want, give them a chance, have them look at something like this. I'm just going to wipe out my entire design, but you know, here's a dance team. It's got all of the elements, both text elements, the banner design elements that are all in the image download. So we could just as easily sit there and say this is Mount Greenwood. Okay, of course it's a little big, but we can change that and make that fit. You know, and Cheer Squad. So that we can change our text on that. We look here, and Mount Greenwood's colors are Kelly green and dark green. So they're going to want that text, and they're going to want that in a different color. So they're going to want that in yellow. Yeah, maybe. But we know we did color green and dark green, so now we go to, that was the banner. Go to that design. That's a white design that's laid on there. We go to the label. We're going to change that to the dark green. We're going to change the pink to the Kelly green. Ooh, the text looks horrible now. We've got this back design. We know that is going to be our Kelly green. We're going to go to Mount Greenwood. Don't know what color that is. We're going to make it dark green. Ooh, it looks horrible. Oh, because it's got a really bad outline. So then we're going to go to the text outline. We're going to change the color to the yellow. We're going to say okay. And I don't like the way it looks, but as you can see, you can take one of their pre-made designs, tweak it out, and it gives you some basic, you know, so if you wanted to, you don't like this design, okay, you can rotate designs if you want to. You can also come up under your under image and just have at it. They have transparency filters. You name it, they've got things covering it. We're 25 minutes in tonight. I think I've covered everything. No one came into chat. No one said nobody questioned anything. Whoops. I had top chat up. Didn't want top chat up. So I believe I'm going to sign off for tonight, and hopefully I've got some good responses, and we'll see everybody next week.